Hello and welcome to the Star Citizen Weekly Review, each week taking a look at the information given to us by official articles and videos, and then condensing that down into the most useful news. This week's review is for the week ending Friday the 27th of November. Firstly this week we had 10 for the Producers, episode 13, presented by Jake Ross, associate producer of The Persistent Universe, and Jason Hutchins, senior producer of Star Citizen. Developing gameplay mechanics. Chris Roberts and Tony Zorovic direct and prioritise the project and what mechanics should be focused on. If they have a presentation or particular release they want to push hard, then they will prioritise features as critical. Must have for release. Examples for the social modules releases, ArcCorp. ArcCorp would have been a critical must have. ArcCorp must have that environment there, otherwise it can't go ahead for release. High, not essential but nice to have. An example of this is the emote text descriptions. Moderate, a wishlist item. If they have enough time, then they'll get around to putting moderate items in, and ones they don't get to put in will be rolled into the next release. Examples of this are extra chat window functionality and features. A similar system is also used for bugs, where critical bugs would be defined as blockers. Story after the PU launches. In the PU, missions and characters will have stories and progression. Big sweeping story arcs will more likely be in Squadron 42 though, and the Persistent Universe will live around that story. Some more on Star Marine. There will be FPS in Squadron 42. Star Marine is a simulation within the first-person universe, much like Arena Commander. It will be a testbed for a variety of features, mechanics and environments while the game is in development. Some modes for Star Citizen may have some form of story flavour, like pirates are attacking a station, fight them off. The main idea though of Star Marine in the future is a way to practice your FPS skills without putting your PU character in danger. Challenges of restructuring. The most challenging part of restructuring is keeping morale up. Supporting and encouraging the team is important. Making sure everyone understands the new structure is critical. What I'm proud of. The social module was a huge success and it was on deadline. Getting the emotes into players' hands was fun too. How much time is spent on the community updates? Community updates and reports are written as a partnership by senior production staff, the director, leads, and the community team. They can be a distraction, but they are known to be important. It can take a long time to collate all that data together. It does, however, give the producers greater insight into what everyone is doing in their team. How do you keep track of development on a weekly basis? There is a 12-month horizon plan where they mainly focus on just the 12 months in front of them. Things that don't fall into that 12-month period normally go into a backlog for review later. The producers and leads create a schedule of exactly what they want using their task tracking software. How do you plan on building out the Persistent Universe? The mid-term plan is to flesh out an entire system first, focusing on the Stanton system and getting it to gold standard quality. Getting the Stanton landing zones completed, and getting the system and zones finished. That will give them important metrics into future development. What are you excited to work on? Mark Skelton is really excited about additional landing zones for Stanton. Jake Ross, character customization. And Jason Hutchins, game systems that don't necessarily involve combat, like mining and space trucking. Persistence. They are currently working on the back end to support persistence. Behaviour and Turbulent are both working on getting player states and customization to stick from going from one map to another, so from one instance to another. In the short term, persistence of items and inventories will be faked, but real persistence will be coming. In Around the Verse Season 2, Episode 8, a few more things were talked about. Star Citizen Alpha 2.0 is currently out on the PTU, with 15,000 players currently testing it, and those tests and fixes are going to as planned. All anniversary ships are now on sale. This ends Monday the 30th of November. Let's have a look to see what the other studios are doing from Around the Verse. Los Angeles, which was previously Santa Monica office. They're in their new offices now, and they've been working on frequent PTU updates, the latest being 2.0.0e. Feedback is appreciated on weapon balance, flight tuning, all that sort of stuff. Reliance are now being worked on by the team, and rigging with Mark Hamill's characters also being worked on. Over at Austin, they are retargeting the male animations to the female skeletons, and the female character is running around in their game build currently. They are also creating a list of new landing zones, though these ones that they're creating currently are more mini, so they're to provide content as filler between larger landing zones. And they're also moving on to a final art polish phase of NICs, so this is lighting and VXF passes. Working on a 2D star map poster as well, which will soon be viewable by us, or at least in our hands relatively soon. At Foundry 42 UK, they're fixing PTU crashes at the moment. Also, they're working on the Starfarer, Vanguard and Sabre. The environment team are also moving off the Crusader map and moving on to the asteroid base as they've finished most of their work on the Crusader maps. They're focusing on Randall Graves, or John Rhys Davies' character, and the UEI team have been reviewing the holotable and shopping mechanics. Foundry 42 Germany, they've been locking down their new animation tools, which will be a huge improvement to their pipeline, allowing for a lot more flexibility and more polish to their work. They've also been collecting data about how to best give Mark Hamill's character presence in the game. There was an interview with Vanessa Landeros about being an animator in the Austin studio. There was also an ATV behind the scenes interview with David Pang, senior animator, and this was talking about character animations and dances emotes. This week's MVP was Moya for his video detailing the new local physics grids. Check out his channel below, I'll put it up all in the description. Also, the art sneak peek was an EMP testing video. That EMP on the Warlock also being available in 2.0 PTU currently. There were 3 question and answer sessions done for the various concept ships that went on sale during the anniversary sale, so we'll go through them now too. The Crucible questions and answers. Ships docked in the repair bay can be transported via quantum or jump point travel, though the increased mass may impact performance. There is a good capacity for self-repair with the Crucible with drones and the crew. Major hull repairs, though, might have to be made via another Crucible or dry dock. The repair arms can't reach its entire own ship. The workshop or garage can be detached and left in space to operate and then be redocked with later. To repair larger ships, you won't necessarily need to undock with that workshop. The Cutlass fits into the garage with the top open, and it can comfortably, with the top down, hold a Gladiator. The Crucible will have some salvage capabilities. Repair and salvage mechanics share some actions together. Eventually, AI will be able to perform ship repair and maintenance roles, although they're unlikely to be as good as humans ever. External ship repairs are done while stationary. Smaller ships in the garage can be worked on in transit though. Repair drones have replaced the Miller ERS, which was the external repair structures, or lattices that we may have talked about earlier. Towing may be available in the future as well, and they are considering a dedicated tug variant. In the future, it also may be possible for multiple Crucibles to work together to repair a larger ship more quickly. You can salvage materials to repair other components. Estimates on repairing a heavily damaged Hornet are, for one crew, around 15 minutes, and for a full crew, maybe it would take 3 minutes. The P-72 Archimedes Q&A. Compared to the P-52 Merlin, the P-72 Archimedes will allow for recharging its boost and more overall sustained fire from energy weapons. The Merlin has a harder hitting size 2 weapon though. The P-72, racing-wise, will be somewhere between the M50 and the Omega in performance. The P-72 and P-52 can both dock with any constellation that has a snub dock. Any ship with suitable room can house a P-72 or a P-52, and there's a lot of room for the P-72 to grow with upgrades and tweaking. The fuel intake will allow the ship to recharge its boost fuel while flying. Snubcraft, like the P-72, have no ability to equip a quantum drive. The P-72 is a lighter P-52 variant that's had its size 2 gun and ammo removed, and that's allowed it to put on 4 size 1 weapons and put on that fuel injection system to allow for boost recharging. The Avenger variants Q&A. In the future, the Avenger will have similar module systems to that of the Retaliator or the Vanguards. It's the module in the back of the craft that differs and makes the variants all named, basically. So taking out the EMP module and then putting in the cargo module, that makes the Warlock into a Titan effectively. The Warlock's EMP generates an EMP blast in an area around the Warlock. It does take time to charge up and then fire though, and only systems that are powered on will be effective. EMPs do not affect hulls, only components. Damage dealt to those components is relative to their distance from the EMP blast, and larger components have higher tolerances against the EMP. The Warlock has no cargo room remaining, that is all taken up by that EMP module. There is other EMP modules in the game, though the Warlock's one is unique to the ship. You do have 3 counter options when encountering an EMP that is about to detonate. Kill and disrupt the target, get far enough away from the blast, or turn off your systems and then turn them back on after the EMP is discharged. Players and holding cells are currently being worked on, so they're not entirely sure how they're going to be worked. They're thinking about possibly having players as commodities if they spent a certain amount of time in cells. They'll have to see how that tests out. The double-seater variant cockpit of the Avenger has already been completed, and they may consider revisiting it and reusing it in the future at some point. The Titan and Stalker's cockpit can be entered via the rear of the craft, and eventually via the side of the cockpit too. The Warlock's cockpit cannot be entered via the rear of the craft. Combat-wise, the Avenger is supposed to be a rugged, aging dogfighter. Think more arms and armour instead of manoeuvring and thrusters. Literally, as I was finishing up my video, the weekly development update came out. It has pertinent information, and I will, in the future, include it in each of the weekly reviews. So, there's been a new patch to the PTU 2.0.0e, adding another 50,000 Star Citizens to the test group. So check your emails now, guys, to see if you've been invited. Server instability is among the major issues with 2.0, but they are working on it. And they've even tried improving the quality of their crash tracking software too. Data for the issue council and the QA teams is invaluable and helps them fix all those nasty bugs. They really appreciate players who take the time to write solid bug reports. A video from the streamer King Kongor really caught CIG's eye about gameplay mechanics and encounters. It has pirates, rescue, action and explosions. It has it all. Check that out in the description below. Tune in to the Star Citizen news every Sunday for this week's headlines and other Star Citizen news not covered here. But all the anniversary ships are now available until the 30th of November, so now is the time to pick up that ship you've always been wanting. Anyway guys, thanks again for listening. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the verse.